Live from KSAT 12, the Night Beat starts right now.
A holiday meant to bring family together marks the very moment one was torn apart. Tonight, Alyssa Cole speaking with the family of Joanna Baker, who police say was gunned down by her boyfriend.
Take her life. That's just cold-hearted. That's pure evil.
We're highlighting the life of a woman who was fatally shot on Thanksgiving and sharing the message her family has for the community, and it's all coming up on the Night Beat.
And just a day after a former SAPD officer was indicted in the shooting of Eric Cantu, the teen's attorney now taking on an additional client in that case.
Plus, it's the Battle of the Birds, and they're taking flight in the Alamo Dome tonight. San Antonio's UTSA Roadrunners hoping to win back-to-back conference championships. But first, a family dealing with grief and pushing for justice just days after Thanksgiving. Joanna Baker was killed that holiday night.
The man accused in her death was her own boyfriend, and now the victim's brother is speaking with the night team's Alyssa Cole.
Joanna, she was a fun person. She was kind-hearted. She would always love to make people laugh.
Chris Arnett is remembering his little sister, Joanna Baker.
She was just a sweet person, you know. She didn't deserve what happened to her.
Investigators say 24-year-old Paris Shaw fatally shot her on Thanksgiving night. Arnett rushed to the hospital where his sister was admitted.
It was a few minutes before I got there and she had passed. So I didn't get to say goodbye.
3 days later, someone spotted Shaw about 10 miles away looking inside of cars on this stretch of De Zavala Road. A nearby homeowner captured this video saying they recognized the man and called 911. Shaw was arrested. According to an affidavit, Shaw emptied out a few rounds from a gun, then placed it on Baker's head and threatened to pull the trigger. A witness heard 4 gunshots. Shaw claimed he thought the clip was empty, but Arnett disagrees.
You know, it was purely intentional on his part. It was no accident.
More than anything, Arnett wishes he could have his little sister back.
I don't know how many tears I've cried. It's just a horrible, horrible tragedy.
Shaw remains here at the Bexar County Jail tonight, and his next court hearing is scheduled for 2 days after Christmas on December 27th. Reporting outside of the Bexar County Jail, Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alyssa. A new plan to tackle the opioid crisis. Texas is in line for a $2 million federal grant. UT Health San Antonio's Be Well effort is working on a new strategy to combat opioid deaths as more fentanyl makes its way into rural communities. As part of the plan, money would be used to help with a lack of transportation, doctors, and rehab in 179 rural areas that currently have little to no substance abuse treatment. They'll also use telemedicine to reach those who need help.
Just a day after a former SAPD officer was indicted in the shooting of Eric Cantu, there's a new development in the case. Cantu's girlfriend is now being represented by the family's attorney, Ben Crump. Now, she was a passenger in the car the day of the shooting. Crump says that she wasn't injured that day, but did suffer extreme mental trauma. She previously told investigators she was hesitant to ride with Cantu after he evaded police the night before the shooting. San Antonio's police chief has condemned former officer James Brennan's actions the night of the shooting. Cantu had multiple injuries, including to his lung and stomach, and he still has a very long road to recovery. Now, Brennan himself is facing 2 charges of aggravated assault by a public servant and 1 count of attempted murder. A court date, however, has not yet been set.
Also on KSAT.com, Day 5 wrapped up in the capital murder trial against a former Border Patrol supervisor, Juan David Ortiz, who was accused in the deaths of several sex workers in Webb County. Today, the jury heard Ortiz explain he wanted to clean up the streets of Laredo. The confession came 7 hours into an interrogation. The trial will continue Monday morning.
More than 6 months after that deadly shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, the community there has been drastically changed forever. You remember this, 21 people, 19 students, 2 teachers were killed. Tonight, we caught up with the community dealing with the aftermath. This is a KSAT special that we invite you to watch on KSAT's YouTube channel. Here's a snippet.
We were leaving and, he's like, Mom, let me go with you. And I'm like, no, stay here. You have 2 more days. Enjoy it, 2 more days and then you're off for the summer. Okay, I'll stay. And, and he just looks back and he waves at us and, we waved back and not even thinking, anything was going to happen. And I would say maybe within 30 minutes, we start getting texts from, the school.
We also heard from those fighting for change and others helping the community on a path towards healing. Tonight's special first aired at 7 p.m. If you missed it, you can check it out on KSAT.com, the KSAT Plus app, or on KSAT's YouTube channel.
A local transport company reacting to today's deal to avoid a railroad strike. President Joe Biden signed a bipartisan measure that would increase pay and allow for bonuses. A tentative agreement also adds a day of paid personal leave, but workers are asking for more. A strike would have meant shortages and higher prices for food and other items just as we head into the holiday shopping season. Double Diamond Transport says everyone in the trucking industry was closely watching the day-to-day changes in the union talks and making plans if a resolution wasn't agreed on.
The supply chain is huge, and so as I mentioned, it's all interconnected, all interwoven, and when you take one domino down, it's just a domino effect, and it all keeps going up.
Medical supplies, food, car parts are all just some of our everyday things we use that are oftentimes transported by railroad. A strike would have cost the U.S. economy $2 billion per day.
Now to the Alamodomes for today's bird battle. The UTSA Roadrunners taking out the University of North Texas and the Mean Green Eagles. There's nothing better than a rivalry and a championship game all rolled into one. Now, we were at the Dome earlier today as fans celebrated in the parking lot.
This year, in-state rival UNT, it got pretty spicy last game when we played them in the regular season.
Obviously, this game generated lots of excitement. It's also a make or break for the UTSA Roadrunners and their bid for a second straight Conference USA championship. Now, that game just ended a few minutes ago, and UTSA came out on top. Woohoo! The big win. And Adam, those who went to the game inside the Dome really got away from the elements tonight.
Yeah, it was a good thing it was in the Dome, just because it got so drizzly and damp out there again. We're dealing with overall dampness, but no real good rain to show for you. Take a look at our live cam. This is at 410 looking toward the airport, and visibility is reduced. It's just not as bad as it was this time yesterday. It's down to 4 miles right now, but you go to Castroville and it's 3/4 of a mile. Even Port SA west side under 3 miles, Stinson Airport 2 miles visibility at this hour. And we have the drizzle and the dampness, but you look at the radar, no real showers to show for it. We picked up a few hundredths of an inch yesterday and a few hundredths of an inch today from the drizzle earlier. We'll talk about when we finally break free from this drizzle, dry out a little bit, and a cold front that's going to affect us this weekend. I'll help you prepare in just a bit.
Our coverage of tonight's big game at the Alamo Dome continues. Our Greg Simmons has that, as well as tonight's Friday night high school football action coming up in sports.
Plus, a series of races kick off tomorrow, along with, dozens of road closures. We're going to take a look at some of the changes that are happening.
And a rapper killed in Houston. A month later, an arrest in the case. So police are saying happened moments before Migos member Takeoff was killed. That's next on the Night Beat.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Gomez Law Firm.
My name is Joseph Gomez with the Gomez Law Firm. This is my wife Lauren and my 2 sons Jordan and JB. On behalf of everyone here, we'd like to wish our armed forces and veterans a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
A major break in the murder of the Migos rap member in Houston. Hip-hop star Takeoff was killed last month outside a party near a bowling alley. Now police are announcing an arrest. 33-year-old Patrick Clark is charged with his murder. The break comes just days after Houston police arrested 22-year-old Cameron Joshua on gun charges, accused of illegally having a gun at the scene where Takeoff was killed. Police say an argument happened after a game of dice before shots were fired. Investigators explain Takeoff was an innocent bystander.
Now let's go to Hawaii, where concerns are growing around lava and air quality. Look at that. Cool to look at, not so cool to be around. That's where the world's largest active volcano erupted recently, and now lava is making its way to a major highway. And officials say it could impact access from the eastern and western parts of the island in about a week. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are traveling there to take a look. So now authorities are setting safe viewing areas. Meanwhile, another volcano is erupting about 21 miles away, and there is concern over volcanic smog and other air quality issues.
And here at home, thousands of runners will hit the streets tomorrow and Sunday. It's all for this year's Rock and Roll Running Series. Tomorrow's race begins at 7:30 in the morning. But things are a little different this year. Unlike in years past, this weekend's race will lead to road closures near City Hall, where the race will begin. Those closures will also continue near Broadway and Brackenridge Park and beyond. There will also be closures on the east and southeast sides of town. We have all those details on KSAT.com.
Yeah, it's better to look at them on the website.
Exactly. We want to give a quick shout out over to Stephanie Cerna from the morning.
Yes.
She's doing a half marathon on Sunday. That is a beautiful shot there of the Bexar County Courthouse.
Yes, hopefully Stephanie's sleeping right now and enjoying the rest because she's going to need it. Okay, but now that's a beautiful shot there of the Bexar County Courthouse. Just really pretty. I mean, I'm thinking about that. And then earlier this week, Adam, you were at Windcrest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're all about lights all over our city.
You know we are. Yes, we are. It's a good time of year for it, and it's going to be a little damp and drizzly periodically throughout the weekend, and overall just cloudy as well. Let's take a look at our headlines here. Tomorrow morning, drizzle, even a few sprinkles. So the dampness that we have out there tonight is going to continue through the first part of the day. If you wake up to go on the morning bike ride, morning run, half marathon, etc., or even just take the dog for a walk, the roads and the trails will be wet tomorrow morning up until about 10 a.m. or so. So keep that in mind. Saturday afternoon, lower humidity. That's going to help dry us out along with a bit of a breeze. And temperatures holding steady all day, right near 60 basically. Then on Sunday, low humidity, so it won't feel muggy, but still cloudy, gray, and a little on the cool side. So we have this weak cold front that's going to be moving in. Check it out right now. It's actually a pretty stout front. Out ahead of it, we've got 60s and 70s. Behind it, we're talking 20s and teens. North Platte, Nebraska, 14. Bismarck, North Dakota, at 2 degrees. You get into Dalhart, Texas, 41, but Denver is at 20. And the cold front's right there in the northern panhandle right now. Currently, we're at 63 degrees. We haven't changed a degree for hours, and that's going to be the case the rest of the night. Even first thing tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., 62. By noon, we drop to about 59 behind the cold front. So not a hard-hitting cold front when it comes to temperatures. And then the rest of the day and even into Friday or Saturday evening, I should say, 60s, then down into or near 60, then into the upper 50s. Sunday, right near 60 for the high. Next week, we do warm up. We're back above average by a good 10 degrees. We're well into the 70s for afternoon high temperatures. And let's talk about the weather pattern that's going to be bringing that and even rain chances. First of all, there's the cold front you see along the front. No showers and storms, just some snowfall on the backside of it in the Northland with some upper energy. That's it. We've got the big blue H settling in. It's over the western Gulf. This is going to hold tight and really prevent any good disturbance from dropping into our neck of the woods. So unfortunately, we'll have this dampness off and on with drizzle and fog, but no meaningful rain. Just a few sprinkles Saturday and Sunday, and even then, it's only about a 20% chance. What you will notice behind the front is a drop in the humidity. Dew points right now, low 60s. You feel a bit of that stickiness outside in the air, but that changes tomorrow. Check out our forecast and our futurecast here for the dew point. First thing in the morning, 8 a.m., still a bit muggy, but then the cold front hits around 10 a.m., and very quickly thereafter, our dew points plummet down into the 30s and 40s. We'll stay cloudy. We'll still have a gray sky, but this is going to get rid of all that drizzle and prevent it from redeveloping Saturday evening. So Saturday evening plans, holiday parties, just fine. Cloudy and a little cool in the upper 50s. Sunday morning, 51. By the afternoon, 61. Next week, as I mentioned, we're in the 70s. You'll notice the humidity all next week, and with it, morning fog and drizzle every single day next week.
Well, you warned us.
It's that time of year.
At least it's Friday. Thank you.
All right, now to the battle of the birds and the Roadrunners. Flying high, Greg.
I tell you what, it was fun visiting with Frank Harris, for example, his family before tonight's game and the fans as well. He winds up being the MVP tonight as Conference USA champions again. Back-to-back titles for that young man and his teammates tonight. And a battle of the unbeatens highlights our big game playoff coverage tonight over at Alamo Stadium. Coming up. In the Alamo Alamodome tonight, the UTSA Roadrunners going for their second consecutive Conference USA Championship if they can get by their rivals, the Mean Green of North Texas. Roadrunners off to a fast start. Kavorian Barnes takes a handoff, sees nothing but daylight ahead of him, sprints in for the untouched touchdown, 27-yarder, 7-0 UTSA. Second quarter, UTSA on the North Texas 11. Frank Harris drops back, then decides to run it in, goes right up the middle for the 11-yard scored, 17-10 lead. Final seconds of the first half, Harris drops back, goes deep to Zachary Franklin, wide open in the end zone, 37-yard pitch and catch, puts UTSA up 24-10 at that. UTSA inside the North Texas 10-yard line. Harris swings it out to Franklin. All he has to do is beat one man for the touchdown. He does. UTSA would later add a field goal. It's now by 14 going into the fourth. Harris and Franklin would connect again right here. Harris has plenty of time, goes deep down the middle for their third touchdown of the game, 41-27 Roadrunners. And they put the game away right here. Harris rolling out to his left, finds Oscar Cardenas, who turns upfield, lowers his shoulder and dives into the end zone. 21-yard score makes it a 21-point game. And the UTSA Roadrunners are back-to-back Conference USA champs. The final 48-27. Frank Harris is the MVP with 341 yards, 4 touchdowns in the air, and 1 on the ground.
I'm just a competitor. Whatever it is my team needs me to do, I'm willing to do it. And, I'm a senior. This could possibly be my last game at the Alamodome. And it's a lot of guys who this is their last game, so I just want to end the right way.
All right, Bernie fans, greet us at Alamo Stadium where the Greyhounds face Corpus Christi Cal Allen in the Class 4A Division I state quarterfinals. Second quarter, Bernie up 21-12, and they add to that lead. Quarterback Jackson Bays goes down, deep down the far sideline to Brooks Pettis, who races in for the 39-yard touchdown, 28-12 Greyhounds. Bernie going to try their running game now. Adam Hicks takes a handoff. He powers his way in for the goal line score, 35-12 Bernie. So Greyhounds defense takes now a bite out of this. Cohen Wolf jumps in front of the passing interception. He's bringing it back 65 yards to the house. The pick six put Bernie up 42-12 at the half. And final from Alamo Stadium right now, it is 49-19 Bernie in NRG Stadium in Houston this afternoon. The Cuero Gobblers facing Silsbee Tigers in the 4A Division II regional finals. Cuero down 20-7 in the third, but keep fighting back. Running back Tyson Williams finds a little daylight, bursts into the secondary, slipping past defenders and fighting off the last one on his way to a 52-yard touchdown. A little later, Cuero on the Silsbee 6-yard line. They give it to Williams again. Look at this. He gets wrapped up in the backfield, but not by one, not two, 3, 4 defenders. He breaks free, dives in for the score to tie the game at 27-all. This game would go to triple overtime. Cuero wins a wild one, 58-56 to advance to the state semifinals. Corpus Christi Flower Bluff Hornets facing the Liberty Hill Panthers at Ferris Stadium tonight here in San Antonio. Class 5A Division II state quarterfinals. Remember, Liberty Hill was a team that eliminated Alamo Heights. Jaden Palacio standing tall in the pocket, fires up the middle to Kyler Meshi for the 27-yard strike. 7-0 Flower Bluff. Liberty Hill responder Jackson Hines plows his way in for the touchdown. Game tied at 7. The final from Ferris. Liberty Hill advances 63-43. Class 3A Division II state quarterfinals at Bobcat Stadium in San Marcos. Both taking on Tidehaven. Pirates march right down the field on their first possession. Quarterback Zane Robbie keeps it himself right at the middle. He's got running room, first bouncing to the outside, then cutting back to the inside. Eventually taken down at the 30-yard line for a pickup of 51 yards. Both and finishes the drive with this 1-yard touchdown run by Matthew Bunn on a 4th and goal. Pirates lead 7-0. The final from Bobcat Stadium. Both wins it 12-6 just down the road at Rattler Stadium in San Marcos. Defending state champion Shiner taking on Refugio in the Class 2A Division I state quarterfinals. Comanche's trailing 13-7 midway through the second quarter, facing 3rd and 7. Quarterback Ryan Peterson rolls out, threads the needle to Kyle Muhlstein for the 13-yard touchdown. Shiner leads 14-13 at halftime. Let's go to the Big Game coverage scoreboard to see that final and more who'll be facing next here. So Shiner falls. Refugio wins that one 27-21. They next take on Timpson, who beat Cooper tonight 34-13. Elsewhere is Bernie over Cal Allen 49-19. They next face Tyler Chapel Hill, who defeated Kilgore tonight 24-21. That will be in the state 4A semifinals. Cuero over Silsbee 58-56. Down next face Wimberley against Lago Fiso. They won tonight 49-30. It was Liberty Hill and Flower Bluff. That is 63-43. Liberty Hill wins that game. And it was Port Neches Groves, by the way. They win that one 29-21. They will be their next opponent. And Poth defeats Tidehaven 12-6, and as a result, they take on Big Sandy next after they defeated Newton tonight 36-22. The new number 1 ranked Brennan Bears in 12's top 12 won't face undefeated Westlake Chaparrals in the Alamodome until tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. to decide who advances to Class 6A Division I state semifinals. The Bears are coming off a 34-17 victory over the other Austin powerhouse Lake Travis last week, while the Chaps have advanced to the state quarterfinals with a 44-7 routing in San Benito for their 53rd straight victory, which is the longest win streak in all of high school football in the nation. The Bears like to be the first team to wreck that streak.
They're very good. I know they're very good. I mean, they haven't lost in a couple games in a couple seasons, I think. But I mean, hopefully we can give them their first one this week.
Let's just come out and execute. We got to play a hard game, a tough game versus a really good team. They're a nationally ranked team, but we think we can. If we go out and execute, we can get the job done.
All right, meanwhile, the Smithson Valley Rangers, who are now number 2 in 12's top 12, will also kick tomorrow at 2 p.m. when they face College Station at the field in Pflugerville, decide who gets to advance to the state semifinals in Class 5A Division I. The Rangers are 12-1 coming into this showdown with College Station, who is 11-2. Last year's state runner-ups in the same division. That's after Smithson Valley knocked off Full Share 31-13, while the Lions clocked Georgetown 52-28.
They're a really tough opponent. They've been to state a couple of times, so we know it's not going to be an easy one. Well, we just got to play our hearts out because we know if we don't get over this game, there's not going to be a next week, so we just got to focus on this one.
It means everything. This team hasn't been past round 2 since 2015, and especially to keep on going to the state quarterfinals, it's an honor.
All right, the Spurs hosting the Pelicans tonight. Next. And just before tip-off tonight against the Pelicans, the Spurs announced that Coach Greg Popovich had a minor medical procedure, would miss 2 games. Brett Brown filling in for Pop tonight. Spurs get down by 10 early on, but claw back. Trey Jones in the corner for the 3. This is good. Then Romeo Langford driving to the rim. He puts it up and in, and the Spurs are an 11-0 run, take the lead. Second quarter now, Spurs fall into another 10-point hole, but Devin Vassell to the rescue. The deep catch and shoot 3 from the wing. Then Vassell fakes pops the straightaway 3. Vassell with 16 points in the first half. Spurs up 52-49 at the break. Third quarter, the Spurs pushing the pace here. Trey Jones and Zach Collins for the dunk, but the Pelicans go on a 13-2 run in the final 2.5 minutes of the third. Zion Williamson comes up with a steal off Vassell, and he's going the other way for the layup. Spurs down 10 going into the fourth. Vassell doing his best to keep the Spurs in this game. The 3 from the wing, part of his team-high 25 points, but Williamson poured in 30 points, 15 rebounds. He's 2 assists away from a triple-double. Spurs drop their 10th in a row. Ouch. 117-99.
My biggest thing right now is just trying to keep everybody's head in. I mean, it's tough. I mean, for anybody, you lose 10 games in a row, like, you're not going to be sitting here smiling, laughing, and you know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to figure it out, keep everybody's head in it, and just keep learning, keep growing, and keep fighting. That's all.
All right, the next chance they have to break out of this losing streak will be on Sunday at 3 o'clock when they play host to the Phoenix Suns. And both the University of the Incarnate Word and Texas State University confirmed today that Cardinals head coach G.J. Kinney will be the new head football coach for the Bobcats in San Marcos, but will stay with the Cardinals through the playoff run starting tomorrow. Kinney succeeds Jake Spavital, who was fired after 4 seasons. Their game will be over at Benson Stadium. That'll be at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It'd be great to see the crowd, which, by the way, was just over 41,000 tonight at the Alamo Dome, kind of make their way over to that game tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And then we find out this weekend where UTSA will have their bowl game. And also we find out who's going to play in the Bolero Alamo Bowl. That will be on Sunday.
Lots of big news to come, but I also want to give a shout out to all the San Antonio teams. Obviously the Roadrunners, sure. UIW, great season. Trinity, great season. Just
absolutely
doing a great job.
Great place to be if you're a sports fan.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Greg.
And we'll be right back after this. All right, a holiday tradition about to light up the local river. Look at that. Whew. This year's River of Lights Festival is going to kick off mañana. Registration has already filled up for paddle boats, but people can still enjoy a pixel tree light show, pictures with Santa, food, performances. By the way, it's free to go. We have the full schedule of events online for you on ksat.com.
And check this out. Step into Christmas in New York City, where the holiday department store windows are drawing big crowds. The Saks Fifth Avenue display is inspired by a partnership with Elton John and his AIDS Foundation. The retailer is also donating $1 million to the cause. Bergdorf's Goodman's theme is magic in the making. The Macy's window features interactive displays asking shoppers to give love. And Bloomingdale's exhibit has a touch of the 70s.
All right, looking at tomorrow, cloudy skies. We'll have some drizzle to start the day, even a few sprinkles, but not adding up to much. It'll be damp in the morning, but lower humidity by the noon hour and through the afternoon and evening. That's going to prevent another round of drizzle and fog tomorrow night. So Saturday evening and night activities, you're going to be fine. Just cloudy and cool, dropping into the upper 50s then. Sunday, only in the low 60s for a high, cloudy still, and a few stray sprinkles. Warmer next week. We're talking 70s.
You know what, though? Those half marathon runners, they're going to appreciate the weather tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Anyway, if that's you, good luck. Have a beautiful weekend.
Thanks for joining us.